Okay, we're inside of our learning module, and today we're going to be learning about how to add a Wimba Live Classroom. Now, Wimba Live Classroom is a pretty interesting tool in that it does both synchronous and asynchronous at the same time. So, for the students that were able to view the live lecture, or even students who weren't able to view the live lecture, they're able to go back through at any time during between test time and the time the lecture was taken to go through and review the materials. So what I'm going to show you now is how to add the classroom and some of the different settings, and we're going to discuss some of those. So let's begin by adding a Wimba Live Classroom to this learning module. And in order to do that, we're going to click on Add Content Link and select Wimba Classroom. Now, if you already have Wimba Classrooms, they're going to show up from inventory down here. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a new classroom. So to create a new classroom, we're going to click the button Create Wimba Classroom. Here's where we're going to give it a title. So because we're in our learning module 1, I'll call this one Learning Module 1. And then I'm going to click Continue. And this will take a few minutes as it goes through and begins creating it. So what we can do is we can create a new room. We can link to an existing room. So if there's a room that's already been created in any of our courses, we can link to that. We can also link to an existing archive. So if you've done an archive before, you can actually link to those same archives. In this case, though, we're going to create a new room and start from scratch. So I'm going to select the Create from New Room and then select Continue. Okay, and now we're in our settings. So here we can give a description. So in this one, I'm just going to put this is just a sample classroom. There we go. And we can make the presentation tools available to only instructors or to both students and instructors. Now, if we want to have a more discussion-based presentation, we may want to select this bottom one, and this would allow for you to talk to the students and have them talk back to you equally. So this works out great if you're used to having discussions in your classroom. The other one that we can do is presentation tools are available only to instructors. Now this doesn't mean that students can't talk, but what this does mean is that they will not be able to do certain things by default. So you'll be able to control this. The other thing that we're going to have to do is select automatically open new archives. You're going to want to check this, and what this lets you do is if you make a recording of everything that you're doing, it'll go ahead and release that out to students automatically. Now we're going to take a look at media settings, and usually I leave all of these things on by default, but if you don't want the students to be able to talk, you can get rid of their ability to talk or use their video or use their phone. Now I don't recommend getting rid of this. This is actually really good if a student doesn't have access to a computer. They can still come to the presentation by dialing in on their cell phone or their home phone. It's not a toll-free number, so it will charge minutes. Let's move on to room features. So we can enable user status indicators. This will just let them know if they're away. This will let you know if they're away from their computer or if they would like you to speed up or slow down. We can allow the students to use the e-board, and the e-board will let them draw different things on the in the Wimba classroom. And you'll see a little bit more of this once we get into some of the later tutorials. And then we can leave the rest of these on by default as well. I usually don't make any changes here. I'm just kind of going through some of the other changes that you may want to make. I would allow the students to use text chat. This will help you with troubleshooting if they're having any difficulty when they're trying to set up their computer. This is a very useful tool to have. And we don't have any maximum users, and for portable media settings we usually leave this the same. MP3s are audio only, and this will allow students to download just the audio for this presentation, and MP4s are the audio and the video, so this will be useful to students as well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and click save and move on. And we can now see the Learning Module 1 has now been added to the very bottom. Now we had to do all of this inside Build, but in order to use it, you're going to want to switch over to the Teach view. The next 3 tutorials will show you more on how to actually use the Wimba Classroom now that it's been added to your Learning Module. This concludes this tutorial.